Yeah, it definitely sounds fancy, but it also sounds delicious. We have Martha with Martha Rutledge Catering. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And it smells so good already. We'll talk about that in just a second. We also have Beth here to talk about a big event happening at USA Women's and Children's called Local Goodness. So first, let's start with what are we going to make on the show today, Martha?
Well, today we're going to feature one of the dishes that we're going to serve at this gala. And it is shrimp stuffed quail breast wrapped in bacon with an apricot glaze.
You mentioned shrimp, bacon, we've got butter and garlic, we've got quail. This is going to be unbelievable. Can't wait to try it out. So what are you doing right now?
Well, right now I am sauteing these onions in a stick of butter. And you can't make anything good without butter.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So this is onions and butter, and that is fantastic. Now let's start talking a little bit about this event, Local Goodness, the Farm to Table event. Tell us what's happening.
That's right. We're so excited about this event. This will be USA Children's and Women's Hospital premier signature event. It's going to take place on Sunday, April 6th in our beautiful Jerry Moulton Children's Park, just right out in front of the hospital. We are celebrating all things local, great local food. Martha's going to help us source some of our produce and meats and all kinds of delicious things right here from local growers in Mobile and Baldwin County. We've got a great local bluegrass band that's going to play some excellent music. And we're just celebrating the fact that we are this area's go-to place for quality health care when it comes to children and obstetrics.
If people want to come out and attend this event, what do they need to know? Do they just show up? Do they buy tickets? How does this all work?
Absolutely. We've got tickets for sale. They're $150 a piece. You can call the USA Children's and Women's Hospital Development Office, or you can find us online. We've got an Eventbrite website, so that's just eventbrite.com/USA-CWH. Local Goodness.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now you've done a little bit more here. You added some stuff. What did we add to this?
Well, I added some breadcrumbs, and they're soft breadcrumbs, and I do them in the Cuisinart.
Oh, really?
And they're not toasted, they're just plain soft breadcrumbs. And then I have added dried parsley to this. We're going to add a little bit of pepper. I'm a black pepper fan.
I'm a black pepper fan as well.
And then we're going to add
I like everything you're doing today.
a little bit of
right?
salt to that. And then we're going to add maybe a little bit more breadcrumbs. It looks like I might need a little bit more.
Just for extra goodness.
Just for
right?
extra goodness.
Because
And
we're
then-
talking about local
That's
goodness.
right.
That's exactly right. And this is cream sherry that I'm going to add to this to make it stick together.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I know you've got a lot of work left to do in the kitchen, and we've got 2 segments left for you to do just that. Also to tell you more about what's all happening at Local Goodness. So we'll check back in with y'all in just a couple minutes. Thanks a lot, ladies.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us on Studio 10 this Tuesday morning, making something that is sure to impress your guests this morning. Martha Rutledge from Martha Rutledge Catering is making shrimp stuffed quail wrapped in bacon this morning. We're also going to tell you about an event that you're going to be catering that's happening at USA Children's and Women's Hospital. But first, let's remind everybody, first you're doing the stuffing, and you almost have it finished. What's in the stuffing so far?
Well, the stuffing has butter, onions, soft breadcrumbs, and parsley. And now we're going to add some chopped shrimp to it.
Okay.
And we're going to just mix this up kind of nicely here. And then we'll be ready to actually stuff the quail.
Okay, and you have an apricot glaze going over here that's smelling really good.
Yes.
And you'll add that after the quail comes out of the oven?
That's exactly right.
Okay, well it does smell really good. Let you get all that mixed together, and we'll talk to Beth about this event that's coming up. Local Goodness Farm to Table, again, event for USA Children's and Women's Hospital happening Sunday, April 6th. You're invited. Tell us a little bit about this.
Sure. We've got a great event planned, a beautiful farm-to-table experience in the Jerry Moulton Children's Park, which is just right out front of the hospital. We knew when it was time to figure out who would be our local go-to chef that there was no one better in the area than Martha.
That's a good compliment.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
That's right. And this is just one of many amazing things that Martha's going to prepare for us. We've got a great local bluegrass band that's going to set the tone. We're working on a signature cocktail. It's really going to be a great time for everybody. We want folks to come out and just enjoy themselves, have a great meal, and celebrate that USA Children's and Women's Hospital is our local go-to place for pediatric and obstetrics health care.
And tell us why you guys are putting this event on right now.
Yeah, there are so many special things going on at the hospital right now. We've just completed and moved into a 200,000 square foot expansion for our pediatric patients. This particular event will raise money for our evaluation center, and that is USA Children's and Women's Hospital Emergency Department. We treat 35,000 patients there every year, and about 90% of those are children. We need to do some remodels in that area, make that a little bit more accessible for ambulances, and be able to kind of better define our pediatric and adult waiting rooms, and just some really good plans with that. So all of the proceeds from this event will go towards making our evaluation center that much more accessible and just an even better place to serve our community.
Yeah, I want to make sure they have the best.
That's right.
Okay, and you're going to have the best food when you go to the Farm to Table
Absolutely.
event. Again, Sunday, April 6th. We have all the ticket information on fox10tv.com on our Studio 10 page, as well as this recipe. Are you ready to stuff the quail?
I am ready to stuff the quail.
Okay. Show us how it's
All
done.
right, we're going to take, this is a boneless quail breast, and I get my quail from a farm in Loosedale, and these are domesticated quail, but the bone has been removed. And so you want to separate the skin from the meat. Kind of a tedious thing, but once you get the hang of it, it's not such a big deal.
And you're showing us how it's done, so that makes it a little easier on us.
Yeah.
We don't have to figure it out.
And so you just put a little bit of the stuffing on the inside.
Okay.
Maybe a lot of stuffing. I like a lot of stuffing.
As much as you want.
Yes. And then you have your, the stuffing is underneath the skin. Then you want to take a little piece of bacon. I just used a half a piece of bacon. I cut it horizontally. And then we just put it in a bacon pan just like that.
And bake it 25 to 30 minutes, 350 degrees.
That's exactly right.
And when we come back, we'll see how they turn out.
Wonderful.
We are back in our Studio 10 kitchen, and we've been working on some fantastic food and talking about a fantastic event this morning. Martha, tell us where we're at in our process here with what we've been working on.
Well, we have stuffed the quail breast, we have wrapped it in bacon, and now we're going to add the little finishing touches, which are, you know, I love black pepper, so we're going to put a little bit of black pepper on here. We're going to put a little bit of seasoned salt.
Now, when you were talking before, Michael White and I were talking about bacon, you mentioned something specifically. What were you talking about there?
Well, my favorite bacon is Benton's bacon.
Okay.
It comes from Tennessee. I carry it in my shop, and it is a marvelous taste. You will think you've died and gone to heaven if you're a bacon lover.
So it's just regular bacon, but it's extra delicious?
It's extra delicious.
All right.
Extra
Well, that sounds fantastic. All right. So you put some of those seasonings on top of there, and then at that point we would put it in the oven, correct?
We'll put it in the oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. I always use a meat thermometer to make sure that the meat is the right internal temperature, and it's around 165 to 170.
And is this the finished product over here?
This is the finished product over here.
All right. Take a look at how fantastic that is looking. Wow.
This is the finished product, and we add a little bit of apricot. I might add a little bit more apricot glaze, but we just keep adding a little bit more apricot to it. It gives it a nice flavor, and it has a nice shiny finish.
All right, and of course you are taking part in the big event that is coming up to benefit the USA Children's and Women's Hospital. If the folks are just tuning in, didn't see the beginning of the show, tell us once again what's happening.
Sure, we've got a great farm-to-table experience taking place in the Jerry Moulton Children's Park in front of USA Children's and Women's Hospital. We're going to have some of this excellent food that Martha will prepare, and she's sourcing meat and cheese and produce from some local growers right here in Mobile and Baldwin County and the surrounding areas. I wish the folks at home could smell this and see this in person, because I'm as excited as ever about this fabulous event that's going to go towards our evaluation center, which is the emergency department at USA Children's and Women's Hospital. And I can't forget that I've got to thank Hancock Bank, our presenting sponsor, and also mention that tickets are selling fast, so we hope folks will call the development office office at USA Children's and Women's Hospital. Check out our website to get tickets, and there are sponsorship opportunities as well as tables that can be purchased for this great event.
And whether you want to sponsor or whether you just want to come out, all that will help in the long run benefit the USA Children's and Women's Hospital.
Absolutely.
Very important, and it's going to be such a great event. And the food, if this is an example, it's going to be delicious as well. Some of that stuff that you mentioned, we'll have that online, that information, so the folks can get that to come on out and take part and either be there or be a sponsor. Ladies, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
That just looks fantastic. Are we going to be able to try this out here?
Absolutely.
All right, after the show, I'm going to dig in. It looks too pretty to mess with it right now. Jared?